This is the Lyndsay Stafford Show.
All right, welcome back to the Lyndsay Stafford Show. Thanks for tuning in. I have a special guest today. All my guests are special, but this one is so special he doesn't even let me call him his first name. His name is just Coach Spence. So whether you will get to find out what that means, right? What Coach Spence means as we talk to him today. But I'm super excited to have you here. So Coach Spence and I met through a mutual contact, the owner of Artisan Family Resorts. Right. Rick is his name. And we met, I had an event at Soulshine. If you haven't checked out Soulshine Pizza, they've got great wings, great pizza, local Franklin restaurant. Highly recommend you check Soulshine out. But I had a great networking event there. And so we got to chat and I said, you got to come on my podcast because you got some really cool stuff to share. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. So tell us a little bit about why Coach Spence, why do you go by that, and your history. I'd like to be able to tell listeners a little bit about you.
Well, in the late 80s, I got started in the strength and conditioning business at Austin Peay State University. And instead of staying in the strength and conditioning business on the college level, there's some negatives there. You know, one is the better you get, then you're going to move to different universities. So it'll take you all over the country. If your head coach is not good, he gets fired, you get fired.
That's how
the
it
new
works.
guy,
Yeah,
they always bring in the first guy as a strength coach.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved helping athletes, and I still do some stuff today with some athletes. But the big thing was, really wanting to help other people. So my idea was, what if I went home and just helped all my classmates and their families get fit? And so graduated from Dixon County Senior High School. In my class it was 500. So it was like, hey, let's go home. And so when I sold out my fitness center in Dixon about 15 years ago, I had touched about, 30,000 people. So it was pretty exciting. So I enjoy it.
Super cool. So what are you doing now? Well,
now with Artisan Home Designs, we are really helping with putting in resorts in people's backyards. It's been really exciting. It's really something Rick started 20 plus years ago in California, and it's amazing. And I think Nashville is right for it, the Middle Tennessee area, because I think, people are really focusing on families again. And I think it's really cool that not only you can have a theme park in your backyard. I mean, not only people that want to have their kitchens out there, but they can also have, any kind of recreation. Not only just a pool, but, rock slides and all of these things. I mean, when he really got big about 10 years ago, he was designing stuff for Disney. Executives for Google were hiring him to put these massive backyards together. And people around these parts hadn't seen this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's his passion. And you've talked to him. He just goes on and on about it. And because he is an engineer, and he loves to put it together and sit down with people and figure out what's your dream? What can we build for you? So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I can't wait to have him on the podcast when he comes back out. Talked to him a couple of weeks ago, but he was at my house. We just put a pool in the backyard.
Right.
We did more than a pool. Kevin Sparks did our backyard, and they did an amazing job. And, talking about bringing families together, that's what it was all about. So we wanted to do pool for a while. We kind of were like, it's a big investment. It's a big decision to make. Right. It's a lot of construction to go through. At the time we had dogs when we were making the decision, have a yard for several months, and it was a lot. But I've worked with Kevin Sparks for several years now, I think about over 4 years. And I got to know them and got to know their culture and what they do, and just really built this confidence in that team. And we turned our backyard, which was a place we never went. We had a hot tub. So like occasionally we'd go in the hot tub.
Of course.
But a place we never went, never spent any time, to like, that's where we by default have all meals that we can, like dinners out there every night. We love being by the pool all summer. We have people over and hang out. I have that like a nice big, doesn't look like an outdoor couch, but it's Chicory is the brand. Outdoor couch. And it's like, you bring everybody together. You really do. When you create this space, and Rick and his vision at Artisan is to create these spaces for people that bring people together. And I love that. And you can't talk to Rick without just like, you could just sit and listen to him tell the stories, He's just got such good stories. But I love what he's doing. I love what he's done. And I love that he's bringing it to Tennessee.
Right.
And one of the things I've been doing is connecting him with some great people.
Yes.
As we go, as he builds out his team here.
Right.
And so that's really exciting. It's really exciting stuff.
It's fun. I enjoy it because I could kind of take that into a lot of the circles I've been in with the Chamber of Commerce's and the Rotary clubs and the Lions clubs and the Catholic community we're in. And just, there's so many people. And when you bring this up, then they're so excited. They're, like you said, they're drawn to it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, tell me more. What does he do? How does he do it?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. It's so cool. So your history, you've been fitness club owner, trainer. I mean, I'm looking at your resume. You've got a ton of leadership experience and we're a professional power lifter.
Correct.
Drug-free power lifter.
Correct.
Right? I want you to talk about some of the challenges that you overcame as you went through these steps in your journey. There's always like those moments of definition or, change that you have to go through. Can you think of one that might resonate with listeners?
Well, I think no matter if we're talking about anything, it could be drugs or sex or anything, there are times when we're raising our kids where we're trying to prepare them for the next step. And, brought up in a Christian family, staying away from the drugs and those type of things was what we did. I mean, that's the proper way. I went to Catholic schools. So staying away from the drugs was not a big issue. So that was the right way to go. Well, so I started training on an elite level at Austin State University with a world champion. And we put together the first powerlifting team there and immediately won the state championship.
Cool.
And so we're going to Murfreesboro and these other competing against these teams. And so we're winning a lot of titles. And there was a guy that was very well known there, and I saw him at the meet, and he starts asking me, he's like, I've watched you lift. You're doing pretty good, but he said you're not taking the leaps that you need to. And I was like, I was surprised. I was like, but we're doing really good. And then he said, well, you're not clean, are you? And I looked at him and I was like, what an insult, right? I mean, he's like, why would I be doing? And he's like, well, you need to go and quit because if you're not taking the right stuff and taking about steroids. And it blew me away. I was just like, well, yeah, I'm not going to do drugs. And he said, like, well, you may as well just quit. And luckily the next year there was a drug-free federation started called NASA out of Oklahoma City. And they started competing, holding contests around the country. And I've been there since 91 with them. And that was very pivotal because my coach always used to say, we're going to compete against the guys, but when it was open and there was no drug free. And he's like, we're going to keep our focus and we're going to continue to do the right things and we will win. And now I've won 72 titles and 19 national in the world because of the leadership and just keeping our eyes on the goal. And I think that's important for people in business or young athletes is to, you're going to have people knock you down, get back up and just keep focused on the goal.
Yeah. And you don't have to give in to the ways of everybody else. And I think that's the lesson I took, as I'm hearing your story is like, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing just because it's what they're doing.
Absolutely. We're all unique, right? I mean, we all have specialties and things that we do better than everybody else. And if we follow the same lead, I mean, where would we be, Right. And I'm, I've got friends in music and art and, sports and, it's just, I can't do any of those things, but networking and business is what I enjoy. And I love that more than I've owned 16 gyms in my career. So I have launched a lot of fitness centers and been a mentor there. And I enjoy that. But you're right. It's, you just got to be unique and, lay out your goals and then develop a plan. I think that's the biggest thing. If you develop a plan to obtain that goal, then you'll get there.
Yeah, just stick to it, right? So you have owned 16 gyms. Do you own any gyms now?
I sold out 3 months ago, and that's the reason that Rick and I have made this decision for me to come on board and help him grow.
So you let go of the gyms?
Yes.
Are you still working out?
Every morning, yes.
You do?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so this is super fascinating to me because I've coached a lot of folks in business in my life. And one thing I think is extremely important and powerful is having that physical routine that includes exercise
Correct.
and nutrition. And I think about nutrition and I was making my Bravenly, my best friend, Christy Greenleaf sells Bravenly and got me into it. And this is a, healthy green tea, caffeinated. I don't drink coffee. I drink mushroom coffee. I don't drink soda. Occasionally I'll have I would say maybe once a month, I might have a Diet Coke out to lunch or something. But having something that you follow not only builds a routine in your life, right? Because you habit stack. I think about those days that I don't get up and do my normal routine, and it's like I'm totally off track that day.
Correct.
And then I think about what you put in your body, and if you are making decisions impulsively with this is what I feel like eating right now.
Right.
You're probably following the sad American diet, right? Which we were talking about earlier. It's not great. I'm not saying there's no place for anything occasionally. I'm a burger and fry girl, self-confessed. But if you have a routine, when you think about being successful, I would love to have some dialogue with you around having some kind of nutrition and exercise plan and how that links to success in other areas of your life.
Think about it. Who do you know that are major leaders in this world, or say in America, that don't do it? President Trump. You look at your high level quarterbacks, football players, hockey players, basketball players. They all have.
Well, of course they do, because they're athletes, right?
Correct.
But think about even just in business, in leadership, and you don't have to be. I'm not an athlete, although Nike will say everyone's an athlete.
Right, that's right. Yeah,
that was one of their marketing campaigns when I was working there. Everyone's an athlete. I'm not an athlete, but success in general in life. Correct. You build out those things, and it is going to help lead to success.
Yes, because you elevate the mental thoughts. You can fight back on negativity. I mean, there are so many things that when you start training, and it increases your endorphins. I mean, you're ready to fight. I always tell people all the time, I'm like a lion in the morning when I get up. I'm ready to go kill for the family. And every day needs to be that way. And it could be even on Sunday if you're going to go and, go praise the Lord. Well, you need to have the negativity needs to fight up for you so you can go and be open to that. But yeah, you're exactly right. And I still have some clients they're not athletes that I train. And my oldest is 83, and my youngest is 7. So we do the same type of things. There might not be as hard or as tough or as much resistance, but you've got to put together these type of fundamentals for whether it be balance or negativity or being fired up and overcoming obstacles. I mean, my big plaque in my office is, obstacles are what you see when you take your eye off your goal, and it's true.
It's so true. That's a great one. Obstacles are what you see when you take your eye off the goal. It's true. You can either focus on your goal or you can focus on the things that are making it hard.
Correct. And it's just like, when you guys go and you help businesses or you do sales, I mean, it's a sorting business. And yes, not everyone is going to hit. You're not going to land every client, but, you just keep running those numbers harder, faster, work out harder the next morning. Yeah. Get back up. We're going to get, yesterday wasn't a great day, but today's going to be one. You just got to keep fighting, just like an athlete on the field.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about building routines and the linking of a consistent routine to success? When you're training people, how do you talk about that?
I think it's number one. I really do. Because it allows you to be focused on the steps that you need to take to be able to reach that goal. When I do public speaking and I talk about having a goal and developing a path or a road to get there, it's very vital, and I'm a creature of habit. I do everything the same way.
Most people are, I think.
Yes.
Right? So our habits are either good or bad. We get to choose. And I think when you get to be, in your 40s, especially 30s, 40s, but especially 40s, like most people are a creature of habit. And then you just do what you've always done or what you've developed as a habit. And sometimes you got to zoom out and go, okay, are my habits good? What do I need to change that I'm doing?
Right.
And am I okay with that habit, or do I need to adjust it?
We know how it is in business too. After you call on somebody, whether you close them or you don't close them, you replay the sale, right? What did I say? Maybe I said that wrong. Maybe I should have presented this better or whatever. And I think it's important. And I think having the habits lined out for me, when I start getting fired up, I start, my mind will take over. And so if I don't have everything lined out the same way, then you find yourself, squirrel over here. And you're like, how did I get over here? Why am I doing this today? I was lined up for making 3 or 4 more calls.
Yeah. And then I started doing dishes or whatever happened, right?
Well, I knocked them out. Yeah. But you're like, wow, I just wasted 30 minutes. And you're like, well, that wasn't good.
Oh my gosh. It's so easy to give into avoidance behaviors and avoid the things that are hard.
Correct.
Speaking of that, right? Because we're talking about the hard things and being distracted, being easily distracted from the hard things that happens. What is some advice that you would give someone that's in that situation where they're kind of giving into their avoidance behavior?
Well, I think if they start fundamentally in the very beginning of the day, and so I always get up at 4 a.m. every morning, and then by 5, I start my training for myself, And people would say, well, you got me started at 6 or whatever. Yeah, but I have to take care of myself first. Mm-hmm. And I always talk about putting my armor on. I make sure to get my armor on so I'm ready to go attack it and go kill it. And then if the ball falls, you're prepared to pick it up and go.
Yeah.
And I think doing things, having everything kind of in a system that you're used to and work your system. And they could be different systems, but it's got to be one that you work and you're consistent with. And consistency is huge.
Something that works for you. And I think I found a lot of people struggle with the beginning phase of how do I establish what that routine looks like? I don't even know where to start. How do I put that in my calendar? Everything is in my calendar.
Correct.
If it's, to the point of, Ben's my son's doing a showcase tomorrow for a basketball showcase. And in the calendar link is the address, the location, the link to the email, all the information about what he needs to have there, right? Because I know that I'm not going to look at that until before we go. And I need to, have it all right there. Right.
Right.
And I think the more you can slow down and prepare for the future, the easier it's going to be. And most people that are struggling with a routine haven't slowed down enough to say, what kind of routine, what do I want to accomplish? And then what kind of routine is going to set me up for that? So then what do I need to do to start changing that?
How many times have we heard that, right? You got to slow down so you can speed up. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be organized. You've got to be, even somebody like me that's not a very organized person, I do slow down and I do get my system set up and then I go. And you got to pull the reins back and with it and have that quiet moment. And it could be, at 4 o'clock in the morning or 5, or you just need to get up 15 minutes earlier and get organized. So that way you can, when you put it into 4-wheel drive, you're ready to go.
Yeah, one of my favorite ways to help people change their calendars is by adjusting their wake up time, and start with 15 minutes. And 15 minutes is a lot. Like in the morning, when school went back in session, my dad and I walk. My parents live next door.
Yeah.
My dad and I walk or work out together every morning, except Wednesdays because I have BNI, and I don't like to. It's too much to try to work it into. I work out later on Wednesdays. I used to not work out on Wednesdays or walk, but now I do. I get everything in Monday through Friday, and I can optional do stuff on the weekends. We like to golf or tennis or whatever.
Correct.
But when school went back in session, it was like, oh, I got to change this routine again. I forget. I still did it, but everything got pushed a little bit later in the summer. The kids are sleeping in. I got teenagers. Right. It's not like I got babies to get up and take care of. And so they're sleeping until whenever they want to. And so we started at okay, well, let's meet at 6. Okay, now 5:45. And so now we meet at 5:30, which is perfect. I get up at 5:15. Okay. I meet my dad at 5:30. We go for our walk usually we do about 5 miles or an hour and 30 minutes. But anyways, it's hard to do when you first are trying to change that cycle of your sleep. And the problem I find with most people, since we're talking about mornings, is the problem with your morning is it starts the night before.
Correct. Yes, that's right.
Right? If
Yes.
you don't have a decent bedtime routine and bedtime,
Right.
it's going to be real hard to get up.
Correct.
And I have found that in my history of coaching people, that's one of the things that you've got to like way back, even when I was in retail as a district manager, coaching store managers, I'm like, well, what's your routine like?
Right.
Because that morning routine, how you get your head right for the day is so impactful on the rest of your day. Like I said, those days, it was senior sunrise for my daughter, who's a senior at Page. And somehow I did not wake up that day. And I can't remember if my phone shut off or wasn't charging or what happened. But, I know what it was. My alarm was set, but it was set to have no sound.
Oh.
Well, how effective is that?
Yes.
Okay, not effective.
No.
And I legitimately woke up like when we were supposed to leave. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to brush my teeth and like put actual clothes on and get out the door. And I was so discombobulated.
Wow.
I still came back and did my morning stuff, but I was totally thrown off because I'm
Right.
not used to that, right? I'm used
Correct.
to having my ability to set my morning up. So I know what things I think are really important in a morning routine, but I want to hear what you think and we can compare notes. When you're working with somebody, what do you think needs to be in a morning routine to be successful?
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there. The first thing is going to bed, get to bed early, turn the phone off, turn the TV off, go in, dark room, relax, and get your body started getting used to that. Because you're right. When you're fighting it, I just need 5 more minutes. It's tough in the
Oh my
mornings.
gosh, yeah.
But you know how well as I do, if we're out there with our kids Friday nights, Saturdays, whatever, and we got ball and you're out really, really late, it's so hard. And that alarm clock goes off and you're like, oh, wow, I can't do this. So, people run their days like that through the week and it's very difficult. But like you said, being able to have a regiment where you get up early, first thing, get you a glass of water, say your prayers. If you're a Christian person, say your prayers and then start like, for some reason, I always get the clarity right at the end of the prayers. It's like, okay, this is where, I do feel good about this, or this is going to be a big meeting today. So I've really got to make this look really good. And then from there, we stretch out and then go do the exercise. So it's always in that sequence. And usually you're on your toes when you get ready to go out and do business. You're ready to do business.
Well, I like that you said put your armor on because I've said the same thing. Like it feels like you have to like put your armor on for the day. Like
Correct.
Whatever comes at me, I'm ready for it.
Correct.
And the phone thing is a big deal. I've talked about it. I think, what are we on, episode 53 or 50? Yeah, 53 or 54. 54 of my podcast. And I've talked about it many times, but I can't say it enough is don't touch your dang phone in the morning.
Right.
Leave it alone. My phone gets touched to turn my alarm off and to respond to my dad that I'm meeting you.
Correct.
Like 5:30, yep. Or like, okay, I'm ready. Or, sometimes one of us is like, I need 5 minutes or, whatever, something happened and we got to postpone, but that's it. Nothing else is coming at me in the morning. And I think that is the opposite of what society does, which is you get your phone before you even get out of bed and you start scrolling or looking at emails,
right,
or looking at text messages or DMs or whatever. And you instantly are inundated with the world's priorities are coming at you. It's not the other way around.
Correct.
And that's what starts your day. So how do you expect ever to get centered and grounded if that's how you start your day?
That's correct.
Right?
Well, just like we were talking about, we were focused and then we saw the dishes and we jumped over there. It's the same thing. I've had an email before and it completely changed my whole attitude. Somebody complaining about something that has nothing to do with where I'm at and where I'm going today. And then you're worried about, hey, do I need to take care of that? Do I need to call them back? Yeah. And you're like, no, you need to get back in there, finish the prayers.
And do what you were doing.
Do what you were doing.
Yeah.
And then when it's time, and unfortunately this society we have now, and that was one of the reasons I'm really glad I got out of the fitness business. People always had access to me.
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
So people would be texting me at midnight about, there ought to be extra toilet paper in the bathroom. And you're like, why are they texting me? You know, what, do you have a job where you work like 8 to 4, 8 to 5 or anything?
Yeah.
Well, why did you text me at midnight?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
but then it's like that's going to happen. So you have to have the filter and you have to have the boundaries to say, well, so for me, my phone is on do not disturb at all times.
Right.
I will not answer the phone if you call me because it is on do not disturb.
Correct.
And I will go through at the end of the day and look at my missed calls and call back the calls that I need to return. And the ones that I don't, I won't.
Right.
And text messages, the same thing. I have a handful of people that can get a hold of me at any time. My assistant, my key team members, my family, my kids, my husband, my parents, my grandmother, the people that need to. I think my sister's on there and maybe my brothers too. It's a little different with boys. I don't talk as much. My sister and I talk every day. But you got to have those boundaries to say, I'm not letting the world have access to me at any time that they want. And I think starting our day with setting that boundary from the beginning and deciding to go, like, I'm going to do for me, it's, I get up, I, wash my face, I do my eye patches and brush my teeth and get dressed and drink my electrolytes, take my vitamins, go for a walk, talk to my dad, who is like my mentor, friend, and talk about the important things and get poured into and hopefully pour into him too, and get outside and like just enjoy life and prayer, devotional, Bible study. Of course, we got to do the red light mask afterwards.
Correct.
You got to look like my husband will walk in and I'm like, I got the mask on my face and the neck. And he's like, oh my gosh, I can't look at you right now. I can't with you. But all those things. And then I listen to some kind of audiobook that's like a personal development or business book, all those things. And usually there's a workout and sauna a couple days a week before I talk to the world. I see my kids and my husband, but you got to have that. And I think the world doesn't set you up for that, which is one of the reasons I love entrepreneurship, because what I just told you in that morning routine is like hours, right? That's like 3.5, 4 hours in the morning. So like my day starts at 5:15 and that takes me till like 9 or 9:30.
Correct. I'm
not answering to the world until then, unless I choose to. At some point in there, I'm like, all right, I'm going to check my emails for the day or whatever. But I think when we think about developing leaders and developing people, that is not what the world is taught. It is like you get up, you rush out the door, you go to work. Yeah. And you're like scrolling as soon as you can. Right. How do we change that?
I think we're kind of nailing it. I think you've got to have this system. You got to have a system set up for your success. Yeah. So that when you step out the door, you put your armor on. You're ready to do battle and win. Okay. Yeah. And we want to focus on winning first. And that's no matter what happens, we're going to win today. Right. And we got to be prepared to do that. We've got to have the weapons on us, And I think look at any kind of a sports team, right? Look at a football team or specifically a football team. I mean, they don't come out of the locker room just when they're getting ready to kick the ball off. Right. I mean, they get out, they stretch, they go through their fundamentals, they go through stretching as a team. Coach talks to them. It's always the same routine to get them prepared to go to battle. And no matter how many games they have, no matter if they're doing a scrimmage or they're getting ready for the state championship or the Super Bowl, they always do it the same way. Mm-hmm. And just like we spoke about earlier, if you throw that up, somebody shows up late or whatever the case may be, and they don't have a good game, well, that's because you changed that routine that's successful. And why would you change it? I mean, it led you to the championship.
The only thing you change is how do you elevate it, make it better, fine tune it, grow it a little bit.
Correct.
And I think habits are so important to look at, building the routine and building the habits that you want. Now, I want to talk for just a minute about if somebody's saying, I'm hearing everything you guys are talking about. I'm like, I'm not doing that stuff. I'm doing the race to get out of the house as quickly as I can. And like I said, it starts the night before. I know for me, like, I think about the kids. Isabel makes her own lunch. She always has. Ben's the baby and I probably do too much for him, but that's a whole nother podcast episode. He's my youngest, so I enjoy it. And I think I also just really like being a mom. So I like doing stuff. Isabel's super independent. So she's always been like, nope, I'll do it myself. And I'm like, I'll do it for you. But their stuff is prepared. The lunches are prepared the night before. They know what they're wearing the night before. My gym clothes, my workout or walk stuff is laid out. Everything's like ready to go for the next day.
Right.
So there's no scrambling in the morning, and you're mentally preparing, mental modeling what tomorrow's going to look like.
Correct.
Before you start. And so I think for someone who struggles with it, my tip, and I want to hear what you would say, is my advice is start with the day before, planning out and committing the day before to change that. And don't try to change everything at once, because if you try to change everything all at once, it's going to be really hard. Start with that 15 minutes. I'm going to get up 15 minutes earlier,
Correct.
right? And make small adjustments. What else do you have there?
It is mental, and you do have to get prepared. I mean, if a team is getting ready to play on Friday night, that each day they add a little bit more focus and get it totally zoned in exactly what their target is and what they're shooting at.
Yeah.
And I think we're the same way. I mean, the night before, thinking about, I've got these meetings. I've got to make sure that maybe I need to look through and brief the information about this company or whatever their business is, and get ready. And I do that. I have a list in the morning on my desk, and before I go to bed at night, I go through that and just kind of get the mind prepped for first thing in the morning. And I do like what you do, and I make sure that, whatever sweats or whatever I'm going to do that day is set up to go do the workout. So once I get up in the morning and I start rolling and get that on, and I do all of my vitamins and get all that stuff in me.
The red light mask?
No, not yet. But I'm
going to get you.
I definitely need. I definitely need that. So,
but the vitamins. Yeah.
But the vitamins and getting the nutrition. I've got a nutritional company too, so I take our stuff and make sure that I'm ready. That mentally, and the same thing. I mean, if I don't have my nutritional supplements, the same ones that get me into that mindset, or when I don't listen to, when I go out and start doing the training and I don't listen to the same music that gets me in the same zone, you have different results.
Yeah.
And I love the getting there, because as the workout goes and as the music goes, then when you're done, before you get in the shower and ready to go, I mean, I'm ready to go do battle. I've got the shield and the sword. It's all waiting for me to put on, and we're ready to go. And I think the routines are so important.
So important. It starts the night before, but that morning routine really defines how you set your day up. It really does. We recently transitioned, my dad and I, our neighborhood's pretty big, and we started walking the opposite way that we normally go. We usually go out of our houses and go to the right. And I'm like, let's start our hill walk again. So we have this big hill. And so it's the first thing we do. And it's 5:30 in the morning and we're climbing the big hill.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, it's a little easier for me than it is for him. I don't lose my breath walking up that hill, but I'm also not 67.
Right.
And so we kind of laugh about all right, we tackled that. And I think when you tackle the hard thing of slowing down and focusing yourself in the morning, you end up everything is just easier that day. You're like, I can do hard things.
Yes.
And when you wake up unprepared, and I think this happens so much when you have younger children, because unless you have them on a real strict routine,
right,
sometimes they're waking you up and you're like, oh, I'm caught off guard. I don't have, but if you're not in that situation, even if you are, my sister does a great job of it, of getting her kids into a super good routine. I struggled. I was a very young mom. And so I struggled with that when the kids were little. But I think if you can put those boundaries around your morning and really decide that those first few hours of your day are going to be set up how you want them.
Correct.
You have a lot more control over the rest of the day. And you also have this ability to come back to your center when things start to go crazy and you go, okay, hang on a second. Let me go back to where I set my day up, and this is not how it was going to go. And that's not my problem. That's not somebody else's fire. I'm not going to let that impact me right now.
Good.
Right. And I think that we can train ourselves to do that. But the world tells us to respond to everybody else's urgent message.
Right.
And that is such a backwards way of thinking. Your fire is not mine to put out.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
We got to.
And don't you see too that once you get those wins early on in the day, your momentum gets so strong and so powerful that those things don't ever stick to you either.
Right.
And they're like, man, she's always motivated. Well, not always, but you've got the momentum and you're not letting these things penetrate and getting to you, and you got the armor on.
Yep.
And that's one good reason, is so that it doesn't get to you, and then you can, go to battle, kill it, drag it back home for the family,
Yeah. And you end your day accomplish what you wanted to accomplish that day.
Correct.
Right? Whatever that looks like, whatever success
Correct.
looks like for you. I love that. Where can we find you? I want to tell listeners, now that we told everybody how to set up your morning, you want more information? No, but seriously, with what you're doing right now, I know you're working with Artisan, which you got to check out Artisan. You said, is it not Artisan Home Resorts? Am I saying it wrong?
Home Resorts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I said it right. Artisan Home Resorts. Check out their website. They are doing some awesome stuff. It's incredible, beautiful. And where can we find you? Well, you could go on there, or people could email me if they needed to do that. We've changed up our website since I've actually transitioned away from the fitness industry. Yeah. But they could reach out to my personal email, or if they go on, they could go on and Google. And if they Google Eric Spence World Champion, they'll find. We'll find you, Eric Spence World Champion, Coach Spence to all of us. And we'll put all that in the show notes too, where you can find Artisan Home Resorts. Yes. I think we talked a lot about morning routine and discipline, and I think that's something that is really critical and foundational in success. And so I appreciate you sharing all that today. Thanks everyone for listening, for tuning in. If you found value in this, and think about it, the value that you may find that maybe there was something you heard that can help you with your routine, odds are it can help somebody else too. So share this episode, like it, comment, rate it, review it. Look at me, Jim. I'm nailing it. I'm saying all the things. Like, comment, rate, review, share, and tune back in again for next time. Thanks for listening to Lyndsay Stafford Show. Thanks for being here.